So everybody always asks me what the secret sauce towards growing and scaling 2 8-figure companies is. It's absolutely insane. People are looking for that magic pill, that magic bullet of what they need to do more to be able to grow their business to new heights. But the reality is, and what I've found is, it's not always what you do more of. It's actually what you eliminate and get rid of from your life. And I've personally experienced that by eliminating drinking, burning the midnight oil, and the desire to fit in. And it has done wonders in my 2 businesses and helped break those chains that were holding me back free and help me grow and scale those businesses. In this video today, I want to go and dive deep into those 3 things and why I chose to absolutely eliminate them from my life. Let's take a look. So the first thing I actually got rid of completely was drinking. I used to be a pretty social drinker. I would never say no to a beer when a buddy offered me one. Weekends, we always had parties and such, and obviously alcohol was a big part of it. By no means was I an alcoholic, and by no means was it creating a huge negative impact in my life. But when I stumbled upon the 75 Hard Challenge and took it on, one of the action items there was actually to not drink alcohol for those 75 days. And that was November of 2022. I completed the challenge and I just realized that my urge and desire for alcohol kind of completely went away. It was really interesting, and even today, I'm not necessarily completely zero tolerance, but I don't really want to drink anymore. And the benefits it's brought in my life have been absolutely amazing, and I want to share those with you guys today. The first one is actually mental clarity. I realized that the way I showed up in the world completely changed. Mornings were not groggy mornings anymore. I was completely alert. I was completely myself. I showed up in a completely different way. The amount of energy I was able to show up with as well completely changed after I had stopped drinking for the period of time. And I 100% recommend that you guys do the same. The second part that I noticed completely changed was actually my physical performance and how I showed up in the gym. I noticed that once I eliminated alcohol from my life, my body recovered a lot quicker. I noticed my aura score is actually going up significantly higher, and workouts and recovery are 2 very important parts towards building your health back up. So everything just happened exponentially faster. And the third thing that eliminating drinking really did for me was a huge boost of confidence. I no longer needed that crutch of the beer bottle or the wine glass to feel like I fit in within a specific social environment. And at first it was a little uncomfortable, right? Because you don't fit in, there's some discomfort. But when I realized that I was taken equally as seriously without that versus with it, I totally had a boost of confidence and I showed up differently in those social environments. The second thing I eliminated from my life was actually burning the midnight oil. And it was kind of hard to eliminate because it was the secret to my success early on. So from when I was 18 to about 24-ish, I was working 16-hour days, and I was literally the definition of a night owl. I really enjoyed working till midnight, 1, 2 o'clock, and then I'd sleep from 2 to 5, 2 to 6, and then get back at it and go crush again. And I was a firm believer that you have to work hard to be able to become successful, and that was a huge part of my life. And then my wife got pregnant with our 2-year-old daughter now, Sophia, and life had to change completely. And the reason behind that was, obviously, babies typically go to sleep earlier at night and they typically wake up early in the morning. So I was like, look, the relationship that I want to have with my daughter is very important. And I realized that being the night owl and working till the wee hours of the night, that needed to change. And I also realized that most successful CEOs like Tim Cook, Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, they were all raving about this thing called the 4 a.m. club or the 5 a.m. club. I was like, no way. There's no way it's the same amount of hours in the day that you have. What does that have to do with anything? Eventually I gave in, I bought into it, and I started implementing it in my life, and it did wonders. The main thing that I saw was I was working ahead of the day. Whereas when I was burning the midnight oil, I would always work behind the day. I was always trying to catch up, trying to finish stuff before I went to bed. The second thing that this unlocked in my life was actually morning rhythms. So when you're up early in the morning, you're able to actually establish a morning routine. So my morning routine focuses on feeding the mind, the body, the spirit. It includes activities such as eating a great breakfast, meditating, journaling, cold plunging, working out. Waking up early in the morning really gives you that time to focus on yourself and set the tone and how that day actually happens. And ever since implementing the morning routine, I find myself showing up completely differently at work, at home, within my life, and it's been absolutely amazing. And then the third thing that eliminating burning the midnight oil did is actually improved my sleep quality significantly. I used to hate waking up in the morning. I used to always be groggy. Only drive and grit got me out of bed. The third thing I completely eliminated was trying to fit in. So I grew up in a very strict Eastern European household. My parents actually immigrated from Romania to the United States with baby me. And as some of you know, typically immigrant parents have very high, strict expectations of their kids, right? And everybody needs to fit into that mold is kind of how you're taught. But it wasn't until I realized that I needed to give up trying to fit in later on in life that I was able to break those chains and really be myself. One of the most pivotal moments in my career was actually my decision to drop out of college. So I had started a family restoration business with my father when I was 18. We ended up growing that and scaling that to over 8 figures, but at the same time, I had enrolled in DePaul University. And I was basically doing full-time college at DePaul University and working like crazy hours at this 24/7 restoration company. And I got to the point where I was really trying to juggle both and everything was like really eating up my time. And I was put in a position where I had to prioritize what was more important. And I realized that, hey, really going through the course material at DePaul isn't really pushing me forward. Building the business is actually the best university for me and the best thing for me. So I decided, although it really hurt my parents, to drop out of college and not try to fit in and focus 100% on that business. And that unlocked me being able to build Rome Exterra to new heights. And while building Rome Exterra, we actually discovered the problem of technology within the restoration space. And that sparked a completely different idea, which was Albiware. And we founded that company, and it's been a venture-backed company. We've raised tens of millions of dollars. We have, thousands of users on the platform, and we're really making an impact on the restoration industry. The 3 kind of takeaways that I also realized when I broke through trying to fit in was 1, extraordinary people are not ordinary. So they just don't fit in by definition. Like literally, if you want to be in the top 1%, you're not going to fit in because 99% of the world has something that you don't, or you have something that they don't. The biggest thing that I had to wrap my head around is, okay, I'm going to be weird. I'm not going to fit in if I choose to live the life of the entrepreneur and choose to do more than 99% of other people. And that's just by nature and by definition what it is. The second thing that it kind of reinforced is that I'm a firm believer that each and every one of us are destined on a specific path. And we all have something in life that we are destined to accomplish. And when you try to fit in, you're dampening that expression of who you are in the world, and you're not actually living to your true potential because of the norms that the society or your family or your friends kind of impose on you. And I've realized that once you give up trying to fit in, it truly breaks down those barriers and you truly shine at a completely different rate. And then the third thing that not trying to fit in really solidified for me is it created an unbelievable competitive advantage. The fact that I did drop out of college and the fact that I did focus on building 2 businesses and went on this uncharted path actually created a unique story that now hundreds of investors believe in and they love, and it creates this competitive advantage that I have over anybody else that I'm competing with. And it's absolutely extraordinary. Because if you're the same like your competition, what's the true competitive advantage? Why would somebody choose you over somebody else? So that was kind of one of the last things that I really solidified within myself when I decided to stop trying to fit in. If you're really looking for that magic bullet to add in and do more of in your business, take a step back and realize that it's not about what you do more of. Sometimes it's about what you don't do. And for me, cutting out drinking, burning the midnight oil, and the need and desire to fit in has absolutely helped me exponentially grow my businesses. I challenge you to take a step back and look at the areas of your life that maybe you need to cut out. And the most important thing is when you cut something out, it's important to fill it back in with valuable and great stuff. Eliminating drinking allowed me to be able to now add back in healthy habits like reading books and such. So there are certain great things that you can fill back within your life if you cut out some of this stuff. And speaking of great stuff, make sure that you hit the like and subscribe button on our YouTube videos so that way you can see more amazing content like this. I'll talk to you guys next week.